The way we sound while articulating words sometimes determines how we are perceived or how we are understood during the communicative process. And the way we sound words is only a function of how much we mastered our English sounds. Today, I'll be explaining how to correctly sound or articulate words with their spellings and more. First of all, you should understand that when we have words with this structure, EX, maybe EXA or EXE or EXI. When you have words with this structure, with this spellings, EXA, EXE, EXI, please, you do not pronounce this letter as X, X, X. Why? This is actually where the mistake arises when we pronounce words with a structure. And I understand where this is coming from. When we try to recite the English alphabet and we get to this letter, we get to this particular letter, X, we pronounce it as X, like this, right? But it's important to note that letters don't usually sound the same way in all linguistic premises. The way this letter will sound in a particular word will be different or may be different from the way it is sounded, from the way it's pronounced in another linguistic or phonological environment. That is exactly what we want to look at today. So this letter will be sounded as x, x, or as giz, 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 or ks, which is kiss, kiss, kiss. Because naturally, when we pronounce the letter, we pronounce it as x, right? But in terms of phonological function, this letter x is usually pronounced as giz, 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 like this, right? But not in all situations. We do have a few exceptions. So, what are we saying? Let's look at the first word. The first word here is how to pronounce that. Example. For example. Now, this word is not example, but example. Example. Now, this structure is pretty simple. It's when you have EX, you have X being followed by a vowel sound, such as the A, such as the E, such as the I, right? Or such as the O. If at all we have U. Of course, you know that we have five vowel letters, right? Five vowel letters in A, E, I, O, U, A, E, I, O, U. So when you have any of these letters, A, I, O, U, coming immediately after the X letter, this X isn't pronounced as X. Most of the time, in this case, we pronounce this X as giz. So that's, you notice that in example, we have E, we have X, we have a vowel letter from here, right? Now, when you have this situation, what you have is example, or you have example. So the right way to pronounce this word is as example and not as x. It's not example, but example. This is actually very important for English teachers, students, or candidates preparing to take exams. The sound here is giz. This X alone is pronounced as giz. Example. For example, not for example. Right. Number two, this word is exempt. 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 Exempt, not exempt. Exempt. Number three, we have examine. 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 Examine, or maybe the long sound. Examine, not examine. Let the doctor examine you. It is not examine, but examine. Examine. And number four, we have exist. Exist. This existed a long time ago. Exist, not exist. I don't like how much we've talked about is existence. It's not existence, existence. Remember, when you have this structure EX, and X is followed immediately by a vowel sound. A vowel sound. The X is pronounced as X, ig. And so the same applies to exist, 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 not exist, exist. Number 5, we have exacerbate, 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 not exacerbate, not exacerbate. This word is exacerbate, exacerbate. And finally, we have exactly, exactly, exact, exactly, exactly. This word is exactly, not exactly, exactly. Remember, I did say that this S letter may be pronounced as kiss or X, X as in box, X like this, right? And when you have the structure, you have this X letter being pronounced as G, especially when you have a vowel letter or a vowel sound coming immediately after the X letter, after the Rex letter. However, there is this exception that I found recently, and that's in the word exercise. In the word exercise, the word exercise, exercise. Now we have R here. Now I'm not saying that the presence of this R is why we have this as an exceptional case. Actually, this word is not exercise. Exercise, it's exercise, X. So here we have, this is just an exception, but most of the time, usually, when you have words with EXA, EXI, EXO, EXU, usually, most of the time, not all the times, you have the X being pronounced, this X letter being pronounced as giz and not as X. Example, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly, exact, or exact. Now, if you look at this word, exact, exact, exact. Now, here you have exact, exact, exact. Why? You look at after X, we have C, exception, 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 exception. After X, you have S, exception, exception. So, but this is an exception, exempt, exempt. If you look at the word except, except, let's pronounce like local people for once. You say X, accept, 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 accept. If you look at the pronunciation of this word accept, you notice that after this we have S, right? We have S, so accept. What you have here is a consonant letter, right? And because this is a consonant letter, you have this word pronounced as X, 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 not except, not except, except, except. So this is how you pronounce words having X. How you pronounce words having vowel letter or vowel sounds coming immediately after the X letter in words. Thanks a lot for watching to this end. If you found this video interesting or informative enough, please do what to follow for more. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Give the video a thumbs up and share. Remember to keep speaking right and keep learning right. See you next time. Bye for now.